Travis Kelce and his Chiefs teammates' plane lands in Colorado ahead of the Chiefs vs. Denver Broncos game. On Saturday, January 4th, Travis Kelce and his Chiefs teammates arrived in Colorado to warm up for the Chiefs vs. Denver Broncos game at Empower Field Stadium at Mile High. Travis Kelce, seen in a plaid jacket and black hat, steps off the Chiefs plane after landing at Denver Airport in Colorado. The Kansas City Chiefs will go into this game resting a ton of starters, and the Denver Broncos finally have some clarity on this. This is one of those rare instances where a team has, legitimately, nothing to gain in a game and everything to lose. Now yes, the Chiefs resting their starters is a good thing for the backups. But they have already clinched the number 1 seed in the AFC, there is no reward here and a ton of risk. Some folks may disagree with the idea of KC resting a ton of players, but the Broncos and the NFL world have finally gotten some kind of official word on who won't be out there for the Chiefs on Sunday. By my count, that's at least 11 starters who should not be out there for the Chiefs: Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, Trent McDuffie, Nick Bolton, Kareem Hunt, George Karlaftis, Justin Reed, Drew Tranquill, Isaiah Pacheco, and Jawan Taylor, and there could be more starters who are active during the game but also do not see any snaps. There is no one right way to go about resting starters. But it seems like the Kansas City Chiefs do plan on resting at least 50% of their offensive and defensive starters. If I had to guess, I would think that some starters here and there may get some snaps, but any sort of higher leverage situation would not see starters out on the field. The Denver Broncos cannot have a more favorable matchup in front of them here in Week 18. They're at home and also wearing the amazing and iconic throwback jerseys. There truly is no excuse for this team losing this game, and if they do, I can only imagine the emotional fallout. One huge thing that helps them is the amount of starters, at least based on this report, that will not be out there in Week 18 for this must-win game. This is it. The Denver Broncos entering Week 18 with all the marbles on the table. This will be the Broncos' third straight win, and you're in a scenario with the Kansas City Chiefs coming to town. If the Broncos win, they'll punch their first ticket to the playoffs since 2015, snapping an 8-year drought. A loss, and they're likely done for the year. Fortunately for Denver, the Chiefs will be resting their starters, including Patrick Mahomes. As the AFC's number 1 seed, they've earned that privilege, but if there's any team under the sun that would love to spoil Denver's redemption arc, it's Kansas City. How will this one shake out? Let's go around the table to see how the Mile High Huddle staff envisions Broncos Chiefs unfolding. Scott Kennedy, at Scout Kennedy, 12-4, we're all familiar with the talking point: it boils down to who wants it more. Well, this one isn't close. Denver has to win, and the Chiefs will be hoping to get through the game injury-free as little-used players get a chance to audition for 2025. Sean Payton gets Bo Nix at least 3 touchdown passes as the Broncos cruise. Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs have already secured the number 1 seed in the AFC, and with it, they will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Undoubtedly, a key factor that makes them favorites to reach the Super Bowl, that potential break of nearly 25 days from Christmas until the start of the divisional round could cause issues with a lack of rhythm and make them appear rusty in the postseason. If Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs lose to the Broncos, Denver would qualify for the playoffs and automatically eliminate both the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals. In this scenario, Reid's latest message could bring some hope to Tua Tagovailoa and Joe Burrow. Considering that many players have incentives in their contracts, some starters could take the field for the Chiefs in Week 18. Yeah, sure. I look at those players with incentives. Like we did with Chris Jones last year. We look at all that for sure. We want the guys to be able to reach them if it's reachable. The Chiefs may be resting starters, but that doesn't mean they're a pushover. If there's any difference. Though, it won't be Carson Wentz replacing Mahomes, but that Chris Jones will likely not play. And let's not forget a blocked field goal was the only thing that saved the Chiefs last time. The Broncos should do enough to get it done. The Broncos have been struggling of late. Playing two of the best 5 quarterbacks in football, the Broncos' defense has massively regressed. Fortunately for Denver, that streak of elite quarterback opponents stops, for at least 1 week. The Broncos simply need to play smart football and take care of business. It has been win 1 game and they're in the playoffs for the past 3 weeks. The Broncos should beat the Chiefs' backups, but unfortunately the franchise has been disappointing Broncos country for nearly a decade. The Broncos control their destiny when it comes to the playoffs, but they have done so for the past couple of weeks and salted away the opportunity. If the Broncos can play fundamental football in all 3 phases, they can win this game. The Broncos have had a good season, but unfortunately, I have a bad feeling that this isn't going to go their way. Denver comes out sloppy in the first half, which dooms them. A late comeback ultimately falls short. I don't care that the Chiefs aren't playing some key starters in this game. They're legitimate Super Bowl contenders and their depth is still really good. The Broncos better come ready and play their best game when it matters the most. I expect a much closer game than the betting line predicts, but Denver wins on a last-second Will Lutz field goal. This game means quite literally everything to the Broncos, and quite literally nothing to their opponent. It's win and in. Last game of the year. At home. Against the hated Chiefs, backups. There is no, and I repeat no, reason Denver should lose this game. It's unfathomable to even consider. It better not happen. The Chiefs will sit multiple starters including Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but that doesn't mean the Broncos can take them lightly. Peyton hasn't coached well enough to win the past 2 games, but if he can stick with the run game, Denver should lock up its first playoff berth since 2015. The Broncos squandered 2 bites at the apple, but Peyton and Nix won't let that happen a 3rd time. The Chiefs' backups will put up a valiant effort early, but the predatory nature of the Broncos' defense comes back to the fore, as the Broncos feast on takeaways and sacks, handing Nix enough extra possessions to toss 3 touchdown passes. The Broncos won't let the fans down, delivering a playoff berth. Finally, what happens next on the Broncos beat? Don't miss out on any news and analysis. Take a second, sign up for our free newsletter, and get breaking Broncos news delivered to your inbox daily. If the Broncos can't beat the second-string Chiefs, then maybe they don't deserve to make the playoffs. 2 blown opportunities against quality opponents have already come and gone, but another loss and the Broncos are playoff toast. Sunday will be a battle for long stretches, but the Broncos ultimately ride on the back of the stellar defense and Nix's shoulders to secure the vital win. Expect a strategic game from Peyton that involves more on the ground game with timely passes from Nix. The Broncos' defense should be able to neutralize Wentz and create turnovers. The home team wins and rejoices as the Broncos punch their ticket to the playoffs. It doesn't matter that the Broncos are on a 2-game losing streak with a final opportunity for a playoff berth versus the Chiefs' B squad. It also doesn't matter that Peyton is in his 2nd season in Denver and 1st year with Nix. The Broncos win, come hell or high water, as fans rejoice because anything is possible in the playoffs. Though their offense ranks 21st in the league, the Broncos, fueled by a defense that will improve its 3rd down performance, will knock out the Chiefs in a tighter-than-expected AFC West showdown. The Broncos will capitalize on Mahomes' absence, forcing Wentz into a costly interception in the waning moments, and allowing the Broncos to pull off the upset and launch themselves into the playoffs. Fans were left confused after New Year's Eve photos of Taylor Swift recently made their rounds on social media. As it turns out, the photos were taken from last year's New Year's festivities when Swift went out partying with her boyfriend, Kansas City Chiefs star Travis Kelce, and their friends.